Emily Wapnick is an artist, entrepreneur, speaker, coach and the author of How to Be Everything, a guide for those who still don't know what they want to be when they grow up.
More and more people are doing multiple things and multiple jobs, and it's not just to make ends meet. A lot of people are choosing this kind of lifestyle.
She lives and works in Canada and has coined the term multi-potentialite to describe folks like her.
You'll have people who have 5 different part-time jobs, each of which they love for a different reason. They've got, 3 different businesses that are just thriving, or they're a serial entrepreneur, or they've got a career in 2 different areas. There was a guy that I mentioned who is a psychotherapist and a luthier. He makes violins, and he is very successful in both.
And, how old are you?
I'm 32.
And do you think that you are emblematic, or do you think you're typical of your generation in the idea of, making it work by doing a variety of different things?
Possibly. I do feel like things are moving in this direction, and, there's all these new career models and new technology which make a lot of things more possible for us.
I'm just not sure whether somebody like myself would have the same capacity to learn new skills. Is there an age limit to when one can reinvent oneself or, open a new door in their career or in their enthusiasms?
I don't think so. I really believe that we can learn something new at any age.
80% of the people in corporate jobs hate them or are dissatisfied with them.
This is Charles Handy, the man who popularised the idea of the portfolio career.
Whereas if you're doing your own thing, 80% of them really like the freedom and the entrepreneurial spirit, even if they're not making an awful lot of money. It's a balancing job, really.
You need to know what the costs are of changing careers. So one of the most important things is to know what it costs you to live.
Professor Heather McGregor, Mrs. Moneypenny to readers of the Financial Times, started out in PR and communications, retrained as an investment banker, set up a highly successful business and is now an academic. If one career isn't enough, is it best to establish yourself and then switch to another in midlife, or is a portfolio of jobs a better prospect?
A portfolio career is where there is almost no principal job. Everybody should have other things that they do in their career apart from their main job. Otherwise, they will never advance their career. So I have a main job and then I have other things, but I wouldn't call it portfolio.
Conversation 1.
What do you think, Lisa? Lisa, you're on mute.
Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry. Yes, I think that's a very good idea.
There's an echo?
Oh, really? What about now?
You're still echoing.
Why don't you try turning down the volume on your speakers? It's worth a try because sometimes the echo's from the mic.
What about now?
That's better.
Well, I was just saying... Hi, Tinkles. There's a good girl.
Lisa?
Conversation 2.
Hi again. Sorry, my computer crashed.
That's okay, Nick.
So where were we? I think I was just about to go through the figures of last quarter.
Nick? Nick?
There seems to be a problem with my internet connection.
Perhaps you could try logging off and on again? That might work, because sometimes the computer just seems to fix itself.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so...
Oh. But now you're frozen.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's actually quite a funny picture of you, to be honest. Hold on. Let me take a screenshot.
What? No.
Conversation 3.
David, can you bring up the figures on your screen for us?
Yeah. I need your permission, though, as you're the host.
Oh, hang on. I can't get the screen share working.
Click on the icon at the bottom of the screen. It says Screen Share.
David,
Maybe you could post the document as a link in the chat box?
No, it's okay. Wait a minute. Here we go. How about that?
OK. Can you all see the spreadsheet?
Nope.
How about now?
I think you've opened the wrong file there.
Nice photo, David.
Right. So, I think everyone's read the suggestion from management to move all of our meetings online. I just wanted to check in and see how you all feel about it.
I think it's a terrible idea. In fact, I don't think we should have any of our meetings online.
OK. Can you expand on that a bit?
Well, it's just not the same as being with people in real life.
I agree.
OK. So, in what ways is it different?
Well, for a start, no one knows whose turn it is to speak.
Yeah, I agree. That can sometimes be a problem. What else?
Loads of things, really.
Can you give us some examples?
Well, sometimes people have a really bad Wi-Fi connection that can make it difficult too.
Is that always an issue?
Well, not for us, but it is for some people, like Nigel. His internet connection is terrible.
Ah, well, that's definitely something to think about. So, what are the main benefits of doing things online?
Well, obviously it's more convenient, because we can call in from anywhere. I also find we waste less time online than we do in the office. There's less kind of casual chat at the start.
I like the casual chat.
It's never too late. ImKun, the 30th of November. It probably feels like there's never a good time to switch careers, giving up a successful job for one that's a lot more uncertain. However, some people do manage to successfully reinvent themselves. Michelle Obama had been working in an office doing legal work when she decided that she wanted to leave her job and do something more satisfying. For her, that meant working in public service, which was a big career change. The rest, as they say, is history. Giorgio Armani, one of the world's top fashion designers, didn't start out in the world of fashion. He was planning to become a doctor and had been studying medicine for 3 years when he decided to leave university and join the armed forces. He worked in a military hospital in Verona before moving into fashion. First, he worked in a shop in Milan, and then he started designing his own clothes before setting up his own company in 1975. Harrison Ford, who starred in Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark, started acting when he was a young man. However, a few years later, he wasn't satisfied with the opportunities that he had been offered up to that point, so he decided to retrain as a carpenter. He continued in this profession for 15 years in order to support his wife and children before he was offered the role in Star Wars.
Now, according to a recent survey conducted by the Workers' Association, only 2 out of every 5 people achieve their childhood ambitions. But what's it like when you actually do? We took to the streets of Manchester to find out.
Hi, my name's Mark, and I'm a criminal lawyer.
And is that what you always wanted to do?
Yeah. Whenever anyone asked me the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would immediately say lawyer. Who knows where I got that idea from at the age of 10? TV, maybe? Anyway, I did what I'd planned to do, got my qualifications and experience working in different areas of law to see which I was most suited to, and I ended up as a criminal lawyer.
And is it as exciting as they make it out to be on TV?
No, not really. It can be a real challenge. I couldn't think of doing anything else, though.
I'm Amanda, and I'm a professional footballer.
And is that what you wanted to be when you were growing up?
Yeah, I was desperate to play football for a living, but to be honest, it wasn't all that common for women to make a career out of it. There just wasn't much money in the women's game. That didn't stop me dreaming about money, fame, or adoring fans, though.
And is that what you've got now?
Well, don't get me wrong, I love my sport. But unless you're amongst the very lucky few who play for a top women's team, you might as well put ideas of fame and fortune out of your mind. Most of the women in the team I play for have to do other jobs as well, so we don't have much time to train. Have I fulfilled my dream? Kind of, but it's not exactly what I was hoping for.
I'm Chilemba, and I'm a drone operator.
Really? That's a very unusual job.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's what I was planning to get into as a kid, but I did always like remote-controlled toys and anything that could fly. So when I saw a job advertised, I went for it. People don't really get what I do. I think maybe they think I deliver parcels or something, but I actually do filming for a TV company. You know, those aerial shots you get over towns or inaccessible places around the planet. It's a dream come true.
Hello, I'm Kiku, and I'm an environmental policymaker.
And I take it that wasn't your childhood ambition?
No. Like everyone else at that age, I wanted to be an astronaut or a firefighter or a film star. It's not that no one does those things anymore, but I think they've kind of fallen out of fashion when it comes to young people's aspirations today. Once I got to university, I realised that young people now are more likely to be set on working in big data or saving the planet, and I'm no different. I love what I've ended up doing, and I'm going to work my way up.
Wow, great to hear that you really can achieve your childhood ambitions.
Traditionally, team-building activities, which seek to improve team working and collaboration in the workplace, have taken the form of away days and in-house activities. These often involve physical challenges, such as adventure sports or competitive exercises, like building a bridge or solving puzzles. Today, with an increasing number of employees working from home, employers have had to get more inventive about bringing teams together. Although many workers report greater job satisfaction from working at home, there is an increase in people feeling alone. Natural team-building opportunities, which might have happened at break times in the office or at the beginning and end of the day, have nearly all disappeared. Connecting with others is a huge part of working life, so companies that are creative when it comes to bringing teams together in a fun way are onto a winner. So what kind of team-building activities can be done remotely? Let's hear from 3 managers who injected a bit of fun into their team's lives.
I really wanted to find a way to bring my team together, so I found a company that organised an online escape room activity. During the activity, small teams had to use virtual clues to solve a mystery and get out of the room before they got locked in. It was a race against time, with several teams competing to escape first. Everyone told me how much fun they'd had. I was really impressed. I would recommend the activity very highly.
My team and I did a virtual travel challenge. Together, we had to complete a series of challenges to win enough credits to get us to the next destination and complete our round-the-world journey. We had to do things like perform a traditional dance or answer questions about well-known places. It required a lot of collaboration and creativity, and the time limit we were given to get back home increased the sense of fun and urgency.
We did a virtual murder mystery. We joined together as a team to investigate a crime. We got to interview suspects and rule them out one by one in order to catch the real killer. It was a bit harder than we'd expected, but that meant we really had to work together and communicate well in order to progress. We got the right answer in the end, which really boosted morale. We felt really positive afterwards.
If you've got a great idea for a remote team-building exercise, email us at the usual address and we'll mention the best ones later in the programme. But for now, let's...
Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace developed the theory of evolution at the same time. Did they work together?
No, they didn't. One worked in England and the other lived and worked in Asia, but both came to the same conclusions.
Were there other scientists who came up with the concept of evolution?
Yes, there was another scientist, Lamarck, who developed a theory of evolution before Darwin. He stressed that animals change to adapt to their environment. And after Darwin, other scientists discovered various facts that supported this theory. For example, they described how traits are passed on to the next generations. Mendel came up with the concept of genes, though he didn't call them genes. And finally, the structure of DNA was described in 1953 by Watson and Crick.
1.
There's an important physical element, so it's vital to begin young to develop the muscles and the physical capacity. Most people recommend starting between 6 and 8, but some pianists do begin a lot earlier. For example, the great pianist Evgeny Kissin began playing when he was old enough to reach the piano. That was when he was 2 years and 2 months.
2.
They don't have much time for hanging about with their friends or being on Facebook like other young people. You need several hours of practice to be good, and many young pianists go to special schools at the age of about 11 or 12. It's a tough world and very competitive, so the kids and teenagers don't have much time for normal activities. In a lot of these schools, they actually have to limit the time that students spend on the piano because it can cause injuries. All of them are very single-minded and dedicated.
3.
That's a very good question. Only 1 or 2% become concert pianists, and even fewer become great ones. But they all want the chance to try so that they won't have regrets later. Their dream is music, and they just want to follow it, even if they know the chances of success are small.
4.
Well, it's not just technique. At a high level that is taken for granted, you need a lot more than that. According to the great pianist Maria João Pires, you must have feeling for the music. You need to make the music yours. You need to be original and powerful so that you can really connect with an audience during a concert. So you can't just sound like everyone else.
5.
Well, first, it's very hard work and it's very lonely. You've got to practice hundreds of hours on your own to get to know the piece. That can be hard when things aren't going well as you have no one to help you. You are on your own. Secondly, you have to establish a relationship with the music. The pianist Joanna McGregor says that she has to make friends with a piece of music to play it well. It has to become part of her.
6.
Some pianists, like Lang Lang from China, have exhausting schedules. He does 100 concerts a year. Others, like Evgeny Kissin, do about half that because concerts are so tiring for them. There's all the travelling and the stress of the performance. Evgeny loves playing in public, but he does find it exhausting physically and mentally because he has to give so much. He loses a couple of kilos during every concert and can't sleep the night after because he is so excited from the concert.
7.
Of course, some more than others, and it happens more when they play a piece for the first time in public to a really big audience. Pianists have their own routines before concerts to deal with nerves. Lang Lang, for example, always eats a light meal of fruit and chocolate. Then he walks around his hotel room thinking about the music and moving his hands in the air.
This afternoon on The World of Music, we have Dr. Anita Morgan, a well-known pianist and visiting professor of musicology at Hereford University.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming in. My first question about piano playing is about when to begin. What's the best age for starting?
There's an important physical element, so it's vital to begin young to develop the muscles and the physical capacity. Most people recommend starting between 6 and 8, but some pianists do begin a lot earlier. For example, the great pianist ImKun began playing when he was old enough to reach the piano. That was when he was 2 years and 2 months.
Wow, he did start young. So, what are the lives of young pianists like?
They don't have much time for hanging about with their friends or being on Facebook like other young people. You need several hours of practice to be good, and many young pianists go to special schools at the age of about 11 or 12. It's a tough world and very competitive, so the kids and teenagers don't have much time for normal activities. In a lot of these schools, they actually have to limit the time that students spend on the piano because it can cause injuries. All of them are very single-minded and dedicated.
How many of them actually become successful?
That's a very good question. Only 1 or 2% become concert pianists, and even fewer become great ones. But they all want the chance to try so that they won't have regrets later. Their dream is music, and they just want to follow it, even if they know the chances of success are small.
What does it take to be successful? To be in this 1 or 2%?
Well, it's not just technique. At a high level that is taken for granted, you need a lot more than that. According to the great pianist Maria João Pires, you must have feeling for the music. You need to make the music yours. You need to be original and powerful so that you can really connect with an audience during a concert. So you can't just sound like everyone else.
What's it like preparing to perform a new piece?
Well, first, it's very hard work and it's very lonely. You've got to practice hundreds of hours on your own to get to know the piece. That can be hard when things aren't going well as you have no one to help you. You are on your own. Secondly, you have to establish a relationship with the music. The pianist Joanna McGregor says that she has to make friends with a piece of music to play it well. It has to become part of her.
So the life of a professional concert pianist is not an easy one. What sort of workloads do they have?
Some pianists, like Lang Lang from China, have exhausting schedules. He does 100 concerts a year. Others, like ImKun, do about half that because concerts are so tiring for them. There's all the travelling and the stress of the performance. ImKun loves playing in public, but he does find it exhausting physically and mentally because he has to give so much. He loses a couple of kilos during every concert and can't sleep the night after because he is so excited from the concert.
Do concert pianists get nervous before concerts?
Of course, some more than others, and it happens more when they play a piece for the first time in public to a really big audience. Pianists have their own routines before concerts to deal with nerves. Lang Lang, for example, always eats a light meal of fruit and chocolate. Then he walks around his hotel room thinking about the music and moving his hands in the air.
That's interesting. Thanks very much, Dr. Morgan.
OK, so let's get started, shall we? The first item on the agenda is, what are we going to do about the decline in sales? We have to do something. I'd like to start by asking Mark.
Well, we might consider spending more money on marketing.
Julie, do you have any thoughts?
I think that's a good idea. More marketing means more sales.
Sorry, can I come in here?
Yes, Peter, of course.
I couldn't disagree more with Julie and Mark. Marketing is expensive, and we have no guarantee that the costs will be worth it. Perhaps you can give us your opinion, Catherine.
Yes, well, I can see where Mark and Julie are coming from. But I have a problem with increasing our marketing budget for the same reason that Peter has just given. We can't be sure of the results. I propose we hire a new sales manager. How do you feel about that, Mark?
That sounds reasonable to me. I think some new blood would be a good thing.
I have no problem with that either.
So, Mark and Julie both think it's a way forward. Peter?
Well, I'm afraid that's not how I see it, Catherine. Again, it means trying to spend our way out of this crisis, and I'm not very keen on that idea at all.
And now over to our business correspondent, Alison McKay, for an update on local business news.
Well, there's a mixture of good and bad news today. Let's start with some good news. UCG, a local company from Telford which imports photocopiers and printers, is offering 50 new jobs. UCG has had record profits. They have gone up by 15%, which is similar to the increased profits of big UK companies like Tesco and British Gas. 20 of UCG's new jobs will be for young people. That's very important in an area where the number of youngsters under 25 out of work has gone up from 18 to 23% this year. Another local company, Z Video Games, has not been so lucky and is going to close down next month after a major decrease in sales. The video game sector has suffered a lot in the last 2 years. Despite the success of games like Modern Warfare, UK sales are down 13% on last year. There's better news from a small e-learning company called Blue Rock. They have won the Midlands Business of the Year award and seen an increase in company profits of 12% after a bad year last year. At Blue Rock, they produce software for schools and universities and export it around the world. Next month, they're going to present a new software package with versions in all major languages, including Chinese.
Hi, Mrs. Atkinson.
Hello, it's Sammy, isn't it?
Actually, it's Danny. Nice to see you here at the Fete again this year.
Yes, and we're lucky with the weather again. And the forecast said it would rain too.
Can I interest you in one of these fantastic musical T-shirts?
A musical T-shirt? What's that?
Look at these. My cousin makes them, and he's donated these ones for the Fete. We're raising money for the new science labs.
Yes, I know.
Look, they're T-shirts with different musical instruments that you can actually play. That's what makes them so special. There are other musical T-shirts, but they are more like toys.
I see.
There's a drum shirt and a synthesizer shirt. And even better is the guitar T-shirt. That's the most popular one. What's brilliant about them is that you can really play and practice with them.
Really?
They're great for parties because all you need is a few people with the T-shirts and you've got a rock band.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is. Another thing that's fantastic about them is that the T-shirts come with a mini amplifier and speaker, so they've got great sound quality.
But they aren't very practical. I mean, how can you wash them?
That's a very good question. You can't wash electrical parts, can you? Just let me check. It's here in the instructions. That's no problem because you can remove the instrument and amplifier to wash them. What's also good is that they're made of high-quality cotton, so they don't shrink. But it's the price that will just amaze you. They're a complete bargain at £15.
Do they come with a guarantee?
Let me think. No, actually they don't, but they do have very durable parts. They last for ages. What about a couple of shirts for your children? They're both musical, aren't they?
OK, you've convinced me, Danny. I'll have one medium-sized synthesizer T-shirt for Tommy and a large guitar shirt for Angela. Here's £30.
Thanks a lot, Mrs. Atkinson. And remember, all the money's going to the science labs. I think they're starting the building sometime in September, which will be...
Sorry, Danny, but Angela's waiting for me in the main tent. I'd better be going.
All right. I hope they enjoy the shirts.